This is Stephen Cyrus Saper in the Conversation Podcast by the Immigrant Storyteller, and welcome to the show. Who is Jane Rosenthal? You ever heard of her? I'm not sure. But she's been sitting and operating next to Robert De Niro for decades. She's not chasing attention. She's not moving in and out, but she's staying there with Mr. De Niro. Because that kind of presence, I have to tell you kids, that's not accidental. That's talent. Even after more than 4 decades in the industry, she still says something very simple. Watching a movie in a theater still feels like magic. That's old school mentality. That's filmmaking, and that's important because that tells you this didn't turn on just one job. There's something intact here. There's a formula to be studied, to be honest with you. You know, she's talked about when she was 18 years old, she started working in rooms at CBS. And she doesn't say, I was running things. I was just a kid, she says. I just felt like lucky to be there. That's a humble personality. And that's the very specific mindset that really helps one connect with the right people, your purpose, your reality. That's what's important here. It's not entitlement. There is pressure to perform. But if you're aligned with the right people, the right person, things change. Things change for the better for you. So that's just an observation. So when we start with this, we go, okay, how did she get started? How did she even become a producer? You know, the bottom line is she kept showing up again and again and again. And in her own words, she says she loves discovery. Not control, not ownership. Discovery. New voices, hence Tribeca Film Festival. You know, new perspectives. Open up to the entire world, specifically after 9/11, to bring New York back together. And finding new ways to tell stories, it's really what's been the core of Jane Rosenthal. That's just not a producer chasing hits. It's someone who understands and trusts her instincts. So now we go back to the partnership with De Niro. If you think someone who values discovery, who listens, who observes, that's someone you can sit next to for a long time. Not because they're dominant, because they're steady, trustworthy. And then comes Tribeca. So it tells you that someone like Jane Rosenthal, who started out wanting to be an actress, and then working in the studio system, and then coming together with De Niro, and then formulating this practical empire of artistry, is something that's absolutely magnificent. You know, she says our hopes and dreams were to bring as many people as possible to downtown in New York for the film festival. Let's build a prestige film festival, she says. Let's bring people back. And that's what New York needed and America needed at the time. That's touching and feeling and communicating what people needed at the time and still do. So what drives her now is clearly understanding a system that connects to the environment, connects to the filmmakers, connects to the people and stories that come together. And that is massive. That is massive. You know, Tribeca gets thousands of submissions every year. Over 100 feature films are selected. And nearly $2 million in funding for filmmakers annually. That's not bad. That gives you a platform and it gets you going. That's a big gift. You know, De Niro didn't have to do any of this, but he wanted to. And Jane Rosenthal was the perfect partner to do it with. You know, she's focused on creativity. She's focused on storytelling, helping people to get them seen, helping voices to get through. Mentorship, she talks about it like the more people that succeed around you, all boats rise. That's poetic. It's a good visual too. You know, makes you think. Makes you think that if you come together with the right group of people in the industry, that means something. That's not overthinking it. It's just an ecosystem. So when it comes to some of the films in the past, Bronx Tale, Wag the Dog, Meet the Parents, she's been involved in all of them, along with many, many more, and also television shows, The Irishman. You know, choosing films to support artists, building platforms for artists through Tribeca. That is all something worth mentioning, and that is why I am talking about Jane Rosenthal today, because she needs to be acknowledged once again, and that is something that is worth for all filmmakers and creatives to know. She has said in the past that we're all scared about things we don't understand, and we need to understand it. That tells you something important. Who is Jane Rosenthal? She's definitely not the loudest person in the room, but she is the listener, the observer, the connector. And that's the real story. Not who's on the screen, but who still believes after 40 years that sitting in a theater and watching a story unfold still matters, because the belief is still there. And everything she's building for that is her core work in place. Thank you for listening. If you like this kind of content, please share, love, and subscribe.